Good afternoon, or good evening, I should say. Welcome to another beautiful edition of Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. As you see in a few minutes, I'm going to have my very distinguished guest, my good metaphysical colleague, Dominic Holmes, on with us. He's going to be talking about a couple of things that's going to be very significant taking place this week in every sense of the word. But I do want to thank all of you. Let's see here. Okay, let me do this. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to have Dominic Holmes on. He is, I've grown kind of close to this brother, meeting him in his home in Detroit, his family is very nice. But in the meantime, though, before we get started, a couple of things as I do, I want to let you know that the show is being sponsored to you by Nicholas Brooklyn. They've celebrated 50 years at 13. Well, they're now at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York, but they were in downtown Brooklyn, things of that nature. But they have been in business offering some of the finest quality products that you can imagine. Also sponsoring the show is Jazz Aphrodite. She has a very special class coming up on the 18th of this month. And so for those of you who would like to get a cardology cycle, she just finished a numerology cycle. So just go to jazzaphrodite.com. And also another sponsor, excuse me, is Manifest on Purpose with Miss Kimberly. There will be new sponsors coming on board very soon. But in the meantime, I just want to let you know these are the sponsors that make it happen, and I greatly appreciate it. And before we bring on my guests, let me tell you about today's forecast. It is the 6th of May. The sun is in Taurus. In fact, it moved into Taurus at 5:42 this afternoon. It's going to reach a new moon officially tomorrow on the 7th at 11:22 p.m. It's a 4 universal month, a 5 universal week, a 1 universal day. So Leos, Aquarians, and Aries, or anybody born on a date such as the 1st or the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month, well, this is your time. By the way, listen, I please, you know what I forget? I always forget to say, please subscribe, okay? Please share, please like. And evidently somebody is trying to imitate the show under numbers. My show is Numbers in You on YouTube. It is any other variation, Numbers in You _ Numbers in You with a number after it is not me. And especially when they ask you for money. That's why I make it clear, although I keep forgetting to announce it right there in front of you, that I will never DM you for monies. So as soon as you see somebody ask you for money, trust me, it's not me. I don't roll like that. But in the meantime, though, let me bring on my wonderful, wonderful guest. Dominic, how you doing, buddy? Ho, 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 ho. There we go.
Hey, how about yourself, brother?
I'm fine, thank you. Most people know when the sun and the moon are in the same sign at the same time, that's a new moon. But I don't think they understand it with the depths that you as a professional astrologer do. What is the significance of a new moon? What are some of the do's and don'ts of a new moon?
Well, for the ladies on here, if you want your hair to grow, wait a few days after the new moon to get it cut. The new moon is the time for planting new seeds, but you want to do it after the new moon, because when the moon is new, that means the sun and moon are conjunct, and the moon is dark. You can't see everything that's going on. But this is the right time for planting seeds. Every new moon has a theme of a sign. This Taurus new moon is a money moon because Taurus is the natural ruler of the second house in astrology. And the new moon is the time where you plant the seeds that you want to grow throughout the next, moon cycle of 30 days.
Interesting. Now, would it be good also, Dominic, for let's say if a person want to start a business, they should try to do it in a new moon, or anything that they want to last to be in a new moon, or it all depends on the nature of the business or whatever the case is?
It should be a couple days after the new moon, and they should also pay attention to the house cusp in their chart where Cancer resides.
Interesting. Why Cancer?
Because the moon rules Cancer.
Makes sense.
And that's going to give you more insight into things that are going to be necessary for you to reap the harvest of the new moon, where you plant the seeds at. But far as starting a business, never start anything on a new moon, because there's no light to show you everything that's going on. This is a time for planning and planting seeds about the business, but you don't want to jump into nothing, right at the new moon.
You know what's interesting, when with the World Trade Center collapse in 2001, in March of 2002, when the United States made the attack, it was in a new moon, when it's completely dark, when it was complete darkness, so you can't see anything. So I just thought that was interesting as a sidebar.
Oh, yeah, it's very interesting, and you see how it played out. See how it played out, right?
Yes, it did. Yes,
they left Afghanistan without a victory.
Yes, sir. Yes,
They're still tangled up in Iraq. They're still tangled up in Syria. Overstretched all over the world, and
so in other words,
about to get a heavy slap. A heavy slap.
I think it's interesting how things are happening. Now, in this case, the moon is in the sign of Taurus, which rules the second house, which is a house of possessions. Does that mean anything significant?
Yeah, and that's not in everybody's house, everybody's chart. It's not in the second house, but Taurus is naturally the ruler of the second house. So depending where the new moon happens in your chart, that's going to be the area where you can expect to make more money, especially if you don't have any squares or oppositions to the new moon. It's going to give you insight into new ways to make money, new ways to look at yourself, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus, the symbol for Venus is a hand mirror, which symbolizes you looking yourself in the mirror, reflecting on, your value that you have yourself, and also, looking within and seeing, what you need to correct about yourself in order to reap the most benefits.
This is the part I always enjoy about you, because you go deep into stuff. I think it's just amazing, because you've made a call about the cryptocurrency, precious metals, bombing of a religious institution a couple of years back when I was first introduced to you. I mean, it's just, I don't know how you do it, man. So I ain't asked you to give no trade secrets, but I'm just saying, I'm giving you your props, following you for several years as I have, that how you do it, I think it's amazing. Tell us about the new moon. Hold on, let me show somebody this, because you have here we go, the new moon ritual. It's a money moon too.
Yes, Taurus and Scorpio are actually the money moons. Scorpio is the moon where you pay off your debts, because that rules the house of debt, taxes, where you apply for loans and things like that, depending on, the aspects to the ruler of your house. Wherever Scorpio is at on your house, that's where you would look for those debts to be repaid and things like that. Where the house that things occur in give you the information to know where to look.
I think that's amazing, man. There's such a science to this. Why do they call astrology and numerology in some circles a so-called pseudoscience?
Well, because anything that they can't, well, first and foremost, pseudosciences don't outlast civilizations. That's what I'm going to say first and foremost.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Astrology has outlasted the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Romans, the Greeks, the British Empire, the Hindu empires. Astrology has outlasted them all. civilizations and kings, races and religions. And astrology is still here. Numerology is still here. So
Can I ask?
if they didn't have any real meaning,
They wouldn't be around. They would have been gone.
But there are people who want to hoard power and knowledge to themselves, so they go out of their way to discredit certain things that would allow people to see beyond the reality that individuals and groups want to create for the world.
I got to ask you another question as a sidebar, because every time we talk, I go in different directions. A couple of years ago, and they're trying to bring back this 13th sign, Ophiuchus, I think they call it, and they're trying to squeeze it between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So a couple of years ago, I was real popular because people was calling about they moved my sign back in this. What is that about? Ophiuchus. And what planet would it rule?
That's about foolishness. That's about foolishness. When you look at the chart, it has 12 houses. Each house is about the span of 2 hours. 2 times 12 is 24. 24 hours in a day. Each sign has 30 degrees. 30 degrees times 12 is 360 degrees, a full circle. And almost a full year.
Well, what is that about? To grab attention?
There's something that I used to say all the time: the war is for your mind. And propaganda
does not change either.
Propaganda is the strongest tool and strongest weapon in every war. There can be ideas and thoughts and new things that want to be, and they can create new numbers just like they create new signs, but it isn't going to change the reality of the simplified thing. Just like humans decided to downgrade Pluto to a what they call it, a dwarf planet, or it's not a planet, or it's a meteor and all that. It doesn't change the effect of Pluto on the world, does it?
Yeah. And what it represents, transformation. Right.
So the puny humans don't control nothing except the minds of punier humans.
So that's interesting.
There'll be people who put their 2 cents in and try to rationalize and justify and distract from the reality with breakthrough ideas and things like that inhibit people from having all of the information that they need to, be successful in this realm.
So, but to get back on point, because every time you say something, I'll go with another question because that conjures up things. But getting back to the Taurus ritual. So if a person want to know what they should do is know in their chart where Taurus is sitting at, whether it's in the 12th house, the 11th house, the 8th house, and that will tell them in that department of their chart what they need to deal with. Would that be correct?
That will tell them where the money is most likely to manifest for them, where the new beginnings of success and, self-esteem and financial worth, because, the 2nd house isn't just about, net worth, it's about self-worth. And, the universe is only going to give you what you feel like you deserve, regardless if you say you wish you had $1 million every day. If you feel like you don't deserve $1 million or won't know what to do with $1 million, you won't ever get it, because there'll be seeds constantly being planted and sown by your mind, and energy follows attention.
Yeah.
So when you're projecting negative thoughts on your subconscious about, you're not worthy of this, or you would never be able to hit the lottery, or I'd never be able to get out of this neighborhood, or whatever, lies you tell yourself, those are the things that you constantly feed yourself, and those are the seeds that you constantly water. So that's what's going to grow in your reality.
Well, before we go really more into the specifics about the activation ritual, how people can participate, because we're going to put up the new moon link for the ritual on the 8th, I do believe it is. Can you just do like about a 30 seconds about if the Taurus is in the first house, the second house, the third, all the way through the 12th? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Taurus in the first house, what would that mean for people who's got Taurus sitting in their first house right now?
If the new moon happens in your first house, the seeds that get planted about your self-worth and your financial situation, they're going to be directly affecting how you're perceived by the world and how you're seen by other people are going to be the things necessary for you to do to accumulate more money. The second house, that's naturally dealing with banks, dealing with self-worth, dealing with your personal values and morals. Are you living according to your purpose, or are you trying to be somebody that you're not, or people pleasing other people? If you're not doing things that are in your nature to do and governed by your second house, don't expect a lot of payout.
The third house?
Third house, this has to do with your local neighborhood, communication, may be connected to your siblings, your early education, your ability to network. Fourth house has to do with your family and values that you picked up from your family growing up as a kid. Now, if you had some self-limiting beliefs indoctrinated into you about your ability to accumulate wealth, then you're going to have to get rid of those and let them go, because the fourth house is also the house of endings. The fourth house also rules real estate. So if you're planting some seeds and be looking to purchase property and things like that, make money off the land, then the fourth house is gonna do you good. The fifth house has to do with children, creativity, lottery and gambling. Gambling includes the stock market, because
So in other words, if the Taurus is sitting in the fifth house, for those that's sitting in the fifth house, when it comes to gambling, that they're likely to be more beneficiary or more blessings, so to speak?
Only for this new moon. I'm not telling you go messing around all day, every day. I'm telling you this.
No, right. We're making it clear. It's just for this new moon period, okay?
It's going to open up a window for you.
Yeah. What about the sixth house?
The sixth house has to do with your health, the services that you provide to the world, your own personal health and well-being. It has to do with agriculture. It also has to do with ritual magic, doing spells and manifestation, to make things pop for yourself. This would be a good time to do that. Seventh house, it has to do with relationships, partnerships, legal issues, following advice that you get from your trusted advisors, and good friends. When I say good friends, I'm not talking about, people who you go to the club with. I'm talking about people who you accept life advice from and take it the same way you would take it from a doctor or a lawyer.
I like how you put that. That makes sense. What about the eighth house?
Eighth house is the house of debt. It's the house of taxes, inheritance, seeking loans and things of that nature. Also, communicating with your ancestors, because the eighth house is the house of death and the dead. And this is a good house to focus on ancestral communications and seeking blessings through your ancestors.
Well, let me ask you this before you go further. So if a person's moon is in the eighth house during this new moon phase of 24, 48, 72 hours at most, that means that it would be to their interest to pay off debt, since it rules debts.
To use the money to pay down, you got credit cards, pay down your credit cards. That's going to give you access to more credit, extend your line of credit. This is a time where if you got good credit, you ask the credit card companies to lower your interest rate and increase your spending rate.
Interesting. Okay, these things are good to know. Ninth house.
This is the house of publishing. Long distance travel, dealing with people from the international community and business. This is where you do that. This is where you can release your ebook, or put out ads and publish information for people to purchase in exchange for money. The 10th house, this has to do with your career, your place in the world, where you are as a professional. this is a time where you can, turn your light on and shine. And especially if you're doing what you're meant to be doing, then you can expect big blessings. The 11th house is the house of networking. It's also the second house from the 10th, so it's the money that you get from your job or career. This would be a time where you ask for a raise.
And
going out.
Okay, I'm sorry.
11th.
11, right.
11th.
You were mentioning on the 11th.
Going out with friends that you socialize with, social groups, whether it's a fraternity, sororities, Masonic organizations, any type of organization where you move towards a collective goal. This would be time to tap into your resources in those type of organizations and seek people to purchase from you or push your product for you. The 12th house, means you trust your intuition, and it also means that you let go of some of those habits that you have that undo your success.
Interesting. This person, they asked a good question. Sandra Moss, how to determine what house your Taurus is in?
Well, you have to look at the cusps of the house. You go to get your chart, and then you can go to my website, redclawconjure.com, and join the free astrology club. There's buttons all over the homepage to join the free astrology club on redclawconjure.com. And then you go in there, you put your birth information in there, and it'll pop your chart up. And around the houses, the chart looks like a circle divided in 12 parts. And on the line where you see Taurus at, that's where Taurus would be at in your chart.
And what's your website again?
redclawconjure.com.
Okay, I want to make sure they got it. Well, this person here, Alexandria, says she's excited for the ritual on Wednesday. Big blessings from every angle. So evidently she knows something we don't know. I think that's cool.
She purchased the talisman, and those are sold out. Those are sold out at that special price. All of them are gone. If you want one of those prosperity talismans, you have to get it from the website. But she got the preview, the spiritual cleanse and the prosperity spell preview. And I got a special device that I pull in energy from different planetary aspects and moons.
I know you don't be joking. That's all. You do not be joking. Okay, there's no question about that. Let me see. I just want to see if anybody else made a comment about it. Okay, K Sharp is greeting us both. Dominic, Mont, and chat, I guess. Thanks so much. Let's see. This is good. And also she thanked us for tonight's live. Okay. We're not going to be doing readings tonight per se. But if you got any questions about where you think your moon is, because now we're going to get in just a moment to the rituals, some of the specifics about the rituals or whatever the case is, not to tell it all, but to get people, for those that are open-minded and like-minded, to come on board to do this. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay. All righty. Anyway, so while I'm looking through this, tell us about, without getting all the sneak preview, about the ritual in and of itself. How long would it last? What time does it start?
It starts at 7 p.m. and it only takes about 30 minutes, It only takes about 30 minutes, and the people with who purchase talismans, they'll be doing something else after, But
is it too late for anybody to purchase the talismans?
Yeah, those are sold out. You can get them on my website, but they won't be shipped to you in time for the ritual.
Right. That makes sense. They should have rushed on it. I know this person, Darius, says this is going to be a great show. Brother Dom is back. Okay, that's how he put it. And for this young lady, she said she was just thinking about cutting her hair. So this would be a good time for her, right?
Yep, right after the new moon. So the new moon is tomorrow at like 10 o'clock at night. So the next day would be good, you know. Even
Okay.
better when you first see the first, you know, crescent of the moon.
Now, this person, Tara Tari, says, what does the new moon mean for cancers? And the moon governs Cancer, as you was alluding to just a moment ago, a little while ago.
Right. The moon governs the sign of Cancer. But far as the new moon and Cancer, depending on where you know Cancer is at in your chart, it's going to affect it different. It depends on what house the new moon is happening in. And where you have the house where you have Cancer on the cusp. So if you have, you know, Taurus on the second house, then you got Cancer on the fourth house, or maybe the fifth house, depending on the size of your houses. You know, that Taurus new moon in the second house is going to help you either make money from real estate or have the money to purchase a new house or apartment, you know, or enrich the living space that you live in.
That's amazing. Anna says it's totally true about the hair. Remember, that was the first thing you talked about, that this should be a time for ladies who want to get their hair cut. But you said tomorrow, somewhere around about 10?
After tomorrow around 10 p.m. is when the new moon is, 10 or 11 p.m. So
Yeah.
the following day or 2 days later would be the best time to cut your hair, once that first sliver of light starts appearing in the moon.
Got you. And that can see it from the heavens. Well, Adrian says, peace to you, Brother Dominic. All right. So this is good. This is good. And I want to thank Anna for the super sticker. And let's see. Okay. Now this person is from Canada. He said, excellent.
Yeah.
They caught the live. Shout out from New Brunswick, Canada. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Canadian family, you know. You know what I think is interesting? The stock exchange was founded on the 17th of May under the sign of Taurus. And every time they say the stock market is doing well, it is bullish. Don't people see the relationship? They don't get
I
it.
mean,
It's like right there in your face, Dominic.
and the big bull for Merrill Lynch.
Yeah. Oh man, down on Wall Street, they got this big old huge bull, man. You know, they don't understand, huh?
That symbols are living things, man.
I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. And even
Yeah.
Mercedes, my September 29th lady, she says bull on Wall Street. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Bull on Wall Street. And then, you know, when you know they tell the Bible stories, you know, they got jammed up in the woods. What they do? They built a golden calf.
They certainly did. They certainly did.
And
Now,
the
this
calf
is
represents the Egyptian goddess Hathor, who rules the planet Venus.
who governs Taurus
Yeah,
and Libra.
in abundance
Yeah, yeah. Now,
and wealth.
this is interesting from Rose Weed. She says, what does the new moon mean in health? Because she will be having a oral surgery on the 8th, the day of the new moon, and she's a Taurus too.
It depends. Well, the sign of Taurus rules the neck.
Right, exactly.
It rules the
Exactly.
neck, and I can't give you a you know proficient analyzation of what it means to you, because I don't know what house you know you have Taurus on the cusp at, and I don't know what planets are going to be aspecting that in your chart. So it would be
That makes sense.
unprofessional of me to give you any medical advice on that.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Mercedes also said an interesting question. I know that's true. Nancy Reagan was definitely into astrology after there was an attempted assassination on her husband on March the 30th of 1981 there in downtown, in front of Hilton in downtown DC. She said she heard that Vladimir, I guess Putin, is a master astrologer. Is that true? He's
He
a
a master
7, you
a
know.
little more than
He's
that.
October 7th, so I wouldn't be
He's a
surprised.
master a little more than astrology.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
also into the martial arts too, you know.
Martial arts and a little bit more than that. You know, in order to be, you know, as successful as he was as a spy and a member of the KGB,
Yeah.
and build Russia back from nothing.
Yeah.
They're a little more experience than just astrology.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's definitely October 7th. And in the meantime, I want to thank my moderator for putting up. This is the site where you go to get all informations, uh, planetary information, other things that you need to get for yourself. And let's see. Okay. Um, let's see. Somebody said the eighth house. I guess, in other words, I guess this person hearing you saying their Taurus is sitting in their eighth house. And Rose Reed says that dentists are like car mechanics, whatever that means. Yeah. So um, now KO Color says that her first house is this Taurus and her moon is in the first house. So what would I don't know what that would indicate to her, but I'm just giving you some of the feedback that people are saying. Um,
Well, her first house is Taurus. The new moon is in Taurus. Depending on if the new moon is conjunct your moon or not, this is going to be a lunar return, and this is telling you need to reflect on how your personal emotions get you perceived in the world, and how much of your self-worth you base on other people's perception of you. If it's to your detriment, then it's something that you need to change.
well, let me tell you, I think it's interesting. Let me see. Get your my moderator is trying to help Zonda. She says get your chart pulled. You need the exact time of birth, which is very important in the location, and you'll see the moon transiting your natal chart. And of course, you see she gave your website for those that want to do this.
Thank you, Jazz.
Now, this is interesting about Monica Savage. She says, "What if you don't have a birth time? And having a birth time, doesn't that give you accurate birth chart? Because I don't understand how it works when you don't have the accurate birth time. Isn't it called erecting the chart? I forgot the term they actually
Chart
use.
rectification.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You can get your chart rectified, or rectify your own chart if you're a competent astrologer. But you basically reverse engineer your chart based on events that happened in your life.
I was told that. I was told that.
So like if you graduated on a certain day, if you got in an accident on a certain day, if your parents split up on a certain day, these would be days that you plot out in your chart, and use that to guide you to the right ascendant, and then fine tune that birth time.
Well, evidently, some of our viewers are right up on point. Like Nina says, she's a Taurus moon, 17 degrees in the fourth house. The moon is also transiting her natal fourth house. My lease ends on the 31st of May. Can you explain how this can affect my apartment hunting? Which is
Yes.
interesting.
Well, because you got a fixed moon sign, you are a Taurus moon. You like to have the same type of house, but you also like to have a nice luxurious house, but you like to stay in the same place. If you're looking for a new place, you will be able to find it, and you will have the money to get the type of place that meets your standard of living. But you want to look for apartments on the lower floors, because Taurus is an earth sign, and it's the first earth sign, so it rules the lower level of the house. You want to be either like in the basement or a ground floor apartment. Those would be the places where you get the best success.
Interesting. This person, V. Wright, says, do you use Western or sidereal astrology?
I use Western astrology. Western astrology is charts that are based on the planet's effect on the earth. Sidereal astrology is like standing on the sun, and we're not standing on the sun. We're on the earth.
Wow. Cece says that her daughter has Taurus in the majority of her houses. So that's almost like saying, it's like, wouldn't it be called a stellium?
That's not possible. She may have a lot of planets in Taurus in one or two of her houses, but the majority of her houses means she got, Taurus on seven house cusps, and that's not possible.
And when planets are aligned like that in any particular house, don't they call that a stellium?
That's when you have 3 or more planets in conjunction, and they could span across 3 signs or 2 signs, or all be in the same sign.
Okay.
And in conjunction means, planets within 10 degrees of each other. So if you had the sun and moon, Mercury and Venus, all in Taurus, like 4 degrees Taurus, 8 degrees Taurus, 13 degrees Taurus, and 23 degrees Taurus. That's 4 signs in a stellium in the sign of Taurus.
Right. And they all have to be within what, 5 or 10 degrees of each other?
10 degrees.
10 degrees.
10 degrees.
Conjunction. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. This person says they have a Taurus rising and moon in the first house, and they happen to be Leos, which is interesting. Okay. Now
Didn't
I
she
have
just ask something about her apartment?
Huh?
Isn't the same person who asked about moving?
I don't know, to be honest. I kind of kept it moving. I'm looking for some of the questions. Let me see, going back.
But natal Taurus rising and moon in your first house, again, that has to do with your self-worth, how you perceive yourself, and how other people perceive you. Do you allow your stubbornness to block your blessings? That's something that you might want to consider, because people with Taurus risings, get stuck in their ways and ruin a lot of opportunities for themselves.
Now, this next question also intrigues me too, because Mercedes says why are they hiding the stars in the moon with chemtrails? Every time the sun comes out, the planes are spraying. That's what I see. If I'm like tomorrow's going to be a beautiful sunny day, I'll see no more than about 4, 5, or 6 chemtrails. Comment?
Well, they can't hide the stars, the moon, or nothing, because they're still there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your eyes might not see them, but they're still there. That's like, the sun, even before chemtrails, they would say, the sun is setting. The sun never sets. The earth spins. So whatever they try to do, or you think they're trying to do, they're not being effective, because it can't stop the energy. Whether it's visible or not,
I think so. Yeah, who can stop the stars?
Right.
Nobody, not that I know of. Okay, despite your best intentions.
As far as like the chemtrails, they do it for different reasons. Sometimes it's weather modification. Sometimes it's more sinister.
Yeah. Well, that's happened. What, last week, a week and a half ago in Dubai, where they call themselves seeding the clouds. It caused a disaster. I would say still don't mess with Mother Nature. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now, this person says, Chef Fire Goddess, it said, Dominic, May 2nd, I took your advice and now I'm mentoring incarcerated brothers who need some guidance on their healing journey. Very nice.
That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, I think that's a nice testament. Okay. And so this person here says, Taurus, Sun, and Venus, Sun, what's the Aquarius moon? How would that affect them? So their sun is in Taurus and they have a Venus sun. Well, that's the one thing, because Taurus rules Venus. Isn't that saying the same thing?
That's not saying the same thing. You can't have a Venus sun.
That's what I'm saying.
Far as Aquarius moon, if your moon is in Aquarius and it's at like from, I'd say 13 to 23 degrees Aquarius, this new moon is going to square your natal moon, and it's going to ask you to make changes in your household. It's going to ask you to give up some of that fixed energy. A square is a 90-degree angle. That means you can only go up so long before you run your head into the wall if you don't turn into another direction. So moon, square moon, that's telling you to make some shifts in your emotions and how you deal with, allowing your emotions to affect your self-worth.
To answer the question about Kiara Torres, she said she did just get an offer on a house. There you go.
Well, look, before you take that offer, wait till after the new moon. Don't sign nothing till after the new moon.
You know what I noticed, Dominic? That in the Asian community, they don't move into a house, just move in a house. They seem to move in a house at a specific time. Can you explain some of that?
Well, you know, they like astrology. They respect and understand astrology.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
timing is everything. That's why they're
Yep.
never in a rush.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they make haste, but they don't hurry.
That's interesting how you say that. That makes a big difference too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you hurry, you rush. When you rush, you make mistakes.
Yeah, because I know a couple of realtors who said that when they're dealing with the Asian clients, they'll get the house, but they're not gonna move in like they get it today, they're not gonna move in tomorrow. They're gonna move in, but they're gonna move in at a time of their choosing, which I think is interesting. So obviously they know something maybe that people on this end in the West need to know. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. This person says, seems like they missed a lot. Very informative program so far. Yeah, well, anytime I have Dominic on, it's always like a source of knowledge. That's all I can say. So this person says, what does the new moon mean for Libra? Because Libra is also ruled by Venus, which is also the companion to Taurus. Does that
Well,
make sense?
it when you're talking about like we can't take we're talking about the planet Moon. The Moon is the planet that we're talking about, and it's a sign of Taurus. If you got a Libra sun, that doesn't give me enough information to say anything about it because I don't know what your rising sign is, where you know what house this is
So
occurring
these
in.
are unknown factors that would
Yeah,
make it hard to determine it.
right.
Yeah, that makes sense. A goddess says, fire goddess says, Dom trying to be polite. You know,
Always.
yeah, yeah, you
Doesn't
class
cost you
act,
anything
brother.
to be polite.
You class act, no question. That's why you're on the show, you know, because you are a class act. This person, this kind of answered an earlier question. Can they find out my houses? Do you need your time of birth? Ideally, you do. Ideally, you do. And this kind of goes into this person's question here too. How do I find my birth time if I can't find it on a birth certificate? And we explained that there is a what would you call it? A rectorial chart? Erectoral chart?
Rectification. Chart
Yeah,
rectification.
rectification. Okay.
Yeah, you did get to the hospital where you were born, not the records department downtown. You got to go to the hospital where you were born to get your birth certificate with the time.
Okay. Well, he missed this one. He said his Taurus is in the 12th house. That's the house of Pisces.
Well, we went through that. We went through all the houses.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, so we talked about the 12th house. That's a house of self-undoing.
That means with finances too, if they're not careful. Would that be correct?
Right. Reckless spending, overspending, spending when you're in a depressed state, or you know, wasting money on substance abuse. Those are things you don't want to do.
Yeah, not right now. This person says, is the placement of the new moon that is happening tomorrow based on your natal chart?
No, but it affects your natal chart.
Yeah, perfect answer. Perfect answer. Definitely. Definitely.
It's transiting through your natal chart.
Okay. This person, Divine Mind, says, I have a Taurus in the 3rd house in Saturn at 11 degrees. Had a thought of talking to my siblings.
That'd be a good idea, especially
brothers and sisters are 3rd house, right?
Yeah, brothers and sisters are 3rd house. And when you have Saturn 11 degrees in your 3rd house, you know, Saturn in the 3rd house, it makes you, you know, not be too emotionally connected to your siblings because you probably had to parent them. So if you're in the mood to give some good advice and help them get their finances straight and take more responsibility in their life and look at the choices they're making and how they're affecting, you know, their reality, then that'd be a good thing to do.
Well, somebody asked an interesting question. This is Jager. Jager, I think they says, what should I do if my Venus is in Virgo, opposing the moon in the 11th house if I'm looking for marriage?
Get a full reading. Get a full reading so you can see what's really going on in your chart. Because Venus and Virgo opposing moon, that just has to do with you and your mother's relationship.
Okay.
You know, that has to do with your mother's relationship and things like that. And maybe you have an issue of blurring the line with associations and romantic partners. But you know, that doesn't govern your marriage. Your 7th house does.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's the house of marriage and partnerships.
So if you really want a good reading on, you know, what you should do for marriage, go to redclawconjure.com, book a reading. I'll give you all the insights, including where to go look for the person that you want.
Well, I'll put it like this. I'm going to vouch for you. You're the best of the best. That's all I'm saying. And Nina said, thank you for answering her question. Okay. So that's it. And then speaking of 7th house, the partnerships, this person just says they got Taurus in their 7th house. Okay.
Well, that new moon might bring you somebody better, depending on, you know, what degree your 7th house cusp starts at. If you're gonna have 18 degrees Taurus in your 7th house, this is a good time for you to look for partnerships. And this is also a time where you might see, you know, legal matters about finances and lawsuits and things like that. The 7th house isn't just about marriage. This is a time where you should go to people who you trust to give you good advice on money before you make any financial decisions.
This word, our Empress, my moderator on Wednesday, says nothing can stop the rising of the sun, which is about this chemtrails, the sauce. Yeah, there's certain things that I don't care. Man, the best intentions, brother, don't kind of work like that when it comes to the heavens. When it comes to the heavenly movements in the stars, I don't think so. Okay. Oh, this person says, obviously, they said they're on your website and they don't see the natal chart.
All you have to do is click the gold button, and that allows you to get an free astrology membership, and you can go get the natal chart, your transits, and everything for free every day.
Can you explain that one more time for this person,
So
Zandra Moss?
When you go to www.redclawconjure.com, you'll see a gold button that says free astrology membership. Several places as you scroll down the page. You click on that, you register for the free membership. It'll send you an email with your login information, and you go there. You get your you know, transits, get your daily astrology reading, get your natal chart, whatever you need.
Okay, good. Okay, let's see what else we got here. And this person says, to be clear, we should find where the moon is in our charts to find out how this new moon of Taurus will affect us. Yes, that is true.
No. That's partially correct.
Well,
You're not just paying attention to moon aspects by transit. You're looking for where the Taurus new moon is going to specifically be at in your natal chart. That's where you're going to find your most money opportunities, self-worth opportunities, building on your magnetism and ability to attract people, things, and situations in life that you desire.
So let me just repeat one more time too for those. So you look at the natal chart rather than the progress chart. Would that be correct?
Yes. You look. We know that the new moon is occurring at 19 degrees Taurus.
Right.
So you look in your natal chart and see what house 19 degrees Taurus is going to fall in.
Okay.
And that's going to tell you where. We know that 19 degrees is in the United States 5th house, a house that governs the stock market and things like that. So
that's going to be interesting. That's going to be very, very, very.
In regards to the stock market in the United States chart.
Now, here's a person that says they were born in Ethiopia and they have a different calendar. So how is it affecting the reading? Is it when they live here in the States, or
no? Just convert the calendar date.
That is true.
You know, the date on the calendar don't change the position in the stars.
Okay, and Jazz Aphrodite is talking to her would get a vaulted birth certificate from your state. They purposely leave the time off. That did not used to be of leaving the time off. That was the situation where Barack Obama, at the time running for the presidency, had to really go and get the time because the initial one didn't have his time. Do you know why that is? Because they used to do that, Dominic.
You know, the less you know about who you are, the better. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know, brother, that makes all the sense in the world. I swear that makes all the sense in the world.
I bet you if you go register at LLC, it's gonna be a timestamp on there.
You know what? You never lie.
Business. I bet you it will be.
Now, what about a person like this? They says they don't have Taurus in their chart at all.
Well, if you don't have, you may not have any planets in Taurus. You may not have Taurus on the cusp of a house, but you do have Taurus intercepted somewhere.
That's right. I would have think so too. Even though they don't have it, obviously, it's somewhere sitting on the
in between two houses.
Yeah, the two houses. Exactly right. Okay. Let's see. Now we're looking at 52 minutes into the hour. So what I want to do is, now I want you to talk about your money ritual, and also I'm going to put up also where people can participate. So your ritual?
Oh, again, you know, we're just, you know, I'll be harnessing the power of that new moon and putting it in a magical device and making it rain on the people who are at the ritual. That's the best.
I would imagine rain with prosperity. Is that what you're saying, buddy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Try to read between the lines. So this is
a bit of a money shower.
So you'll either take a screenshot or you'll get your cell phone out and just take a picture of it and then just go on there and do that. This is very, very important. And also, Dominic, too, you are acknowledging the mothers. And you're giving I saw it earlier today when you were talking about Mother's Day coming up. For all you mothers, Dominic and I wish all you mothers to be mothers in progress, whatever the case is. Happy Mother's Day. But Dominic is giving a special offer. You want to talk about that, buddy?
So it's only for, you know, spiritual cleanses, healing work, coaching, and things that are going to help you be a better person. You know, if you go to my site and you're interested in those things, use the coupon code MOM, you get 50% off. That's, you know, because, you know, the mother is like, you know, the goddess Offset, the divine nurturer, queen of the universe, the mother of all, you know, and that's who I get a lot of my spiritual power from, Isis, a lot of my healing abilities. And so for the Mother's Day, which ends on the midnight on the 13th, because Mother's Day is the 12th, use the coupon code MOM, get 50% off something that'll help transform your life.
Okay. My moderator was saying evidently somebody must oppose it. And so can you explain the difference between the natal chart and the transiting chart, which I understand, but I'd rather it come from a professional like yourself.
So your natal chart is basically a snapshot of the heavens at the very moment that you were born. When you were born, you take a picture of your chart at the exact time you were born, the place you were born. This is your natal chart. This is the blueprint of your soul. It's like your owner's manual for how to get the best out of your human experience on Earth. Transiting planets are how the planets move after you're born and before you were born. The planets keep moving.
That's right.
Your natal chart is just a snapshot of your soul's energy, and how the planets transit through your chart are like your phone getting software updates. And a transit brings software updates. Retrograde brings software updates because the retrograde is happening in one of those 12 houses of your natal chart. So by that retrograde happening in one of those houses, the planet is traveling backward through the degrees that it already moved in your chart, traveling backwards to see how well you assimilated that planetary energy in that area of your natal chart. Does that make sense to everybody?
They should really join your Mystic University courses, to be honest. And all they got to do is go to mysticuniversity.net/courses and just log on to your astrology course. You do a terrific job on that one.
Learn a lot.
Now, this is from Fire Said that says, evidently learned from. She says she has a weird question. I hope she doesn't sound silly. She's born on May the 2nd. Her child was born on the 2nd also as well, but due to an emergency C-section, he was supposed to be born April the 14th. Does that make a difference on how the child was born? You know, and I've also thought about that too. That's asked me too.
Has to do when they take their first breath. That's when the birth time gets put down on the chart, when the child takes their first breath. You a living being. You living outside of your mother. You're no longer a parasite host relationship. You've officially started your journey as a living being.
That makes a lot of sense, because people have asked me that question before, and I really wasn't too sure, because my whole thing, for me anyway, that they may have said one thing, but if under circumstances the child is born before then under a C-section, obviously that was the time they're supposed to arrive.
No baby comes before they're supposed to be here. Nobody.
Okay. Good. Let's see. Okay, let me see something. This person says their Saturn is in their second house and they have a business for about 1 year, but seems to have restrictions. I think it would be very hard to answer Miss Ramos, since she didn't give her birthday, because
and then the restrictions, you want to look at the chart of your business. And if you want an astrology read specifically on your business, you can get that at Red Claw Conjure. You just go to the store page, and we'll get a reading for your business.
Yeah, speaking of business, we were almost out of business. I sort of read, had I not paid attention, it would have just said blank. Okay, so I think we've done that, and I think that should be it. And this is thanks again to Jazz Aphrodite for putting redclaw.com money /moon or -moon activation ritual. And so is there a deadline? Because today is the 6th and it's going to be on the 7th. I mean, on the 8th.
It's going to be on the 8th. So long as they're registered before 6 p.m., they'll be able to get in.
Okay, good. By the way, please let me, let me put up your banner. So this is how people can get in touch with my very distinguished guest and metaphysical colleague, Dominic Holmes, astrologer, the Brothers Marketing Sites. Y'all should follow him on I don't know, boy. I ain't gonna even go there. But following you on Instagram is such a pleasure. It's like, how do you get all this information, man? It's like amazing. And then you be forecasting it too, like the cryptocurrency.
I love what I do, and usually the financial stuff. I give those astrology reports on my Full-Time Pressure Instagram.
Yes.
Because if you look at my Full-Time Pressure Instagram hashtags, it says business astrologer. And I do use that for my business clients. And I got a lot of affluent business clients that come to me for astrology stuff. And because Full-Time Pressure is a marketing page for Black businesses and Black people, I try to give them insight into how the big boys play. But, a lot of them think, you're going to get where you want to go by having a big boy car and a big boy watch, and then struggling and worrying how you're going to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah. I think that this is really, really amazing how you do this. And especially when you do that business part and you says the pressure line, more news than you can use. I'm saying
You know it, Jack.
listen, that's the phrase, more news that you can use. And the news is very enlightening, man. It raises a lot of consciousness. So I hope people pay attention, you know what I'm
I do
saying?
too.
So Dominic, I want to thank you very, very much, man. This has been great, brother. This is really great. So please join Dominic, please, for the new moon ritual coming up. Whoops. Let me get the banner off here a second so they can see. And it's a money moon activation ritual. So for those of you who may have been wondering whether, how things are happening financially and whatnot, I would say that y'all should tap in. And in fact, the place to go would be this. This is the link here. Let me do this. This is the link where you can. So take a screenshot, get your cell phone out, take a picture of it, and sign up. And for the Mother's Day special, all you got to do is go to his website, redclawconjure.com. And when you apply, just put in the code word mom and you get 50% off. All right. So, but this is all you mothers and mothers to be and mothers of the future, which is the same thing, I guess. And I think this is cool, Dominic. Thank you so much, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give my announcements before I sign off. Dominic is my buddy. I'm telling you, the brother is great. I don't care what nobody says. On Wednesday, I have this beautiful lady here, Sasha Allen Walton. She is a transformer and a divine healer, and it's going to be a very interesting experience. I do want to thank my sponsors, which is Jazz Aphrodite. Her cardology class is coming up on the 18th. I want to also thank Miss Kimberly, a Manifest on Purpose. It's a great show. I listen every Monday and Wednesday when I'm doing my things in the morning. How she comes up with that, she reminds me so much of Iyanla Van Sant. She'll pull a page from her life, but the principles are so universal. And lastly, my newest sponsor is Nicholas Brooklyn. They're celebrating 50 years. And in fact, a couple of things they're going to be having. For those that saw it last Sunday when Reza Islam was there at Nicholas Brooklyn at 1396 Fulton Street, this is a live stream. So if you want to get a copy of that, and I was there. It was just an amazing presentation he did by Slide. The brother's no joke. Okay, I could see why a couple of people knocked on his door, but this is for those of you who want to get that. There's a number at the bottom left under this red circle. Just call and whatnot and apply there. And on Wednesday they're going to have Infiduci. And in fact, for those of you who remember. During Black History Month, I've had him on my show. And so for those of you who miss these things, just go to YouTube and type in Numbers in You or Numbers in You by Lloyd Strayhorn. And you see the show. If you missed Dominic, the beginning of it, go there and you just catch the show that just came out. I do want to let you know that the main newsletter is out. So all of you should have it. And I've added another tweak to it in conjunction with Manifest on Purpose, where I actually each month record the forecast before I do the newsletter. And so when you go to that Manifest on Purpose, you can see that there are the zodiac signs and the timestamp. So when you get there, you don't have to listen. I think this was over an hour. I was so busy talking about crystals and stones and other things in addition to the zodiac signs and the personal, what it meant for the universal month of May. But this will tell you so you can get right to the signs itself. And all you got to do, this is a symbol when you go to there, is May 2024 astronumerology forecast by zodiac sign.
and you go right there and you can get the whole thing. For those of you who feel you'd like to do this as a career or profession, I would be honored to have you join. It's going to be a very small select crew. It ain't going to be a whole bunch of people up in there because it's going to require a lot. And one phrase, to whom much is given, much is required. Well, it's going to be required. So for those of you, this is for the serious minded only. I kid you not. And I don't care whether everybody had the money, 100 people wanted to. If you're not serious and be prepared what it takes to do this. And that's what I want to start with. Okay. So just go to the bottom and write to a star8llc@gmail.com. It's right there at the bottom of the flyer, a star8llc. Just say you're interested. And by the way, applications or inquiries will go out to you right away. All right. We wanted to wait till Mercury was finished retrograde. The eclipse was all at effect. And so we just sent all these things out in May. So we've got quite a few responses. So for those of you who would like to join me, I think that would be nice. And again, I need to thank my brother. By the way, this is the website again, too, for those that want to go. So for those that could not see it, go to a Star8 LLC, tell them you're interested in learning more about it or you've been signing on for it. And it would be an honor and a pleasure to teach you. It would be my pleasure. So again, I want to thank Dominic for giving me his valuable time. I want to thank you for joining me. And don't forget, on Wednesday, we're going to have Sasha. She makes teas and other things and potions and whatnot. She's got something just for the ladies too. I mean, she didn't leave out the brothers, but she got something just for you ladies for Mother's Day. So I think you'll have fun. So everybody, I want to thank you very, very much. This was a very interesting day. I enjoyed it, as I always do. And I must thank Jackie Barrios for talking me into doing this, because I said, I don't want to do this, but it's one of the best things that happened to me. And from that, I love her from the bottom of my heart. Everybody, y'all have a nice day. See you on Wednesday. Take care. And don't forget, on Wednesday is the new moon ritual. So make sure, for those of you, you go to redconjure.com and make sure that y'all sign on for the ritual, okay? And I'll talk to you later. Bye.